Hi, Ron. Listen, I'm not especially a fan of Jan Groover either, but allow me to walk you through why she, maybe a possible reason why she became a rock star, so to speak. Um, First of all, she was probably touched by the right people. I mean, she's not untalented. She does have a certain vision. I mean, in this particular sample that you presented, there is a sort of dissembling of space, and it's a flattening of perspective, which relates to the straight aesthetic, which is what we're studying. Straight photography is a relative of the modern art that came along with the 20th century, where perspective was kind of thrown out the window, and the relationship of the figure to the ground and the space around the main figure is dissolved. So here, basically, she just dissembles into elements. You talk about her love of line. Well, here it is. Yes, the curved line here. The shape to which defines right here, related to the pepper and so on. And she draws from history here. Now, for example, here is Man Ray, who photographed in the early part of the 20th century, and he did a lot of camera-less images, photograms, where he placed objects on top of photosensitive paper and created stuff like this, which he called rayograms. Look, this looks like it's film that he basically put on top of sensitized paper, and here where the paper got exposed to light, the paper turned dark, and where the object held back light, you have kind of a whitish, grayish stuff going on depending on how much light got passed through. So I mean, her idea is not new. She found the correct gimmick, but she has a vision. So and then we move on to someone like Stieglitz. Now this picture is from 1907. Okay, now Alfred Stieglitz brought modern art to America. He was probably the one greatest godfather of modern photography, the straight aesthetic. And this picture is titled The Steerage. And he saw this when he was taking one of his many trips to Europe. He always traveled first class, and the steerage is down here, right down in this area. So I'm going to read to you what Stieglitz saw when he was walking on the deck waiting for the ship to depart for Europe. So here he says, there were men and women and children on the lower deck of the steerage. There was a narrow stairway leading to the upper deck of the steerage, right here, and a small deck right on the bow of the steamer. To the left was an inclining funnel, right here. I don't want to lose my place. And from the upper steerage deck, there was fastened a gangway bridge that was glistening in its freshly painted state. It was rather long, white, and during the trip remained untouched by anyone. On the upper deck, looking over the railing, there was a young man with a straw hat, right here. The shape of the hat was round. He was watching the men and women and children on the lower steerage deck. A round straw hat, the funnel leaning left, here, the stairway leaning right, the white drawbridge with its railing made of circular chains, white suspenders crossing on the back of a man in the steerage below, round shapes of iron machinery, a mast cutting into the sky, making a triangular shape, right here. I saw shapes related to each other. I saw a picture of shapes and underlying that the feeling I had about life. So he hastened back and got his camera, came back, and nothing had moved. And this is considered probably like the seminal signature modern photograph, the straight photograph, because he dissembled the subject into these shapes. So, Pablo Picasso saw Stieglitz as a kindred spirit. He said, we think alike. Here is one of Picasso's defining images, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, basically a painting of prostitutes in Avignon. So, looking at this, Picasso basically he does away with the relationship of the figure to the ground. So that's the key issue. It's about space. Jan Gruber talks about how she's influenced by Walker Evans. because Evans changed space. Well, Picasso really changed space. So we have two masked figures on the right side. These are all prostitutes. And this, many have interpreted as Picasso's fear of disease. I mean, Picasso was, he frequented prostitutes. Here we have a figure which is linked to archaic Iberian sculpture. And it's Picasso's attempt to elicit a sort of crude, primitive directness. And this leaves this woman here, the woman with her right elbow raised and her left hand on a sheet pulled across her left thigh. The table with fruit that had originally been placed at the groin of a sailor in a previous study, the sailor is no longer around, and this is lengthened and sharpened and been lowered to the edge of the canvas. This table looks like a phallus, and it points to this woman here, and also to this woman. So this is a symbol of sexuality, and it's the viewer's erect penis, and it points to the woman of choice, which is either this one and this one. But this one appears to be lying on her back. So you know, there's a total destruction of any logic as to how we see space. These women are standing and sitting and so on, but these women are. This woman especially is lying on her back. All these other women are neither before her or behind her. So he's dissolving the figure-ground relationship. And look also, this woman's legs are crossed, her hand rests behind her head. So she seems to stand among the others, but her position is really that of a woman on her back. So even though we see her as her body is perpendicular to our line of sight, he destroys that whole logistic construction. So both these men, he starts, Stieglitz pushes the envelope and dissembles the scene, and Picasso, with painting, is able to take it to an extreme. So all I'm trying to do here, Ron, is showing you where Groover comes from. Okay, she apparently knows her art history, and she was influenced by these people. So again, I'm not her fan. She found the right thing. She moved. She just did this over and over again, and it worked for her. Like I am a fan of Ansel Adams, for example, and his landscapes are spectacular. But I don't go to his shows anymore. I don't look at his work anymore because I love chocolate ice cream too, but how much chocolate ice cream can I eat? So I'll leave it at that, Ron. I hope I made my point. I hope this helps. And I'll talk to you next time. Take care.